In this video, we're going to take a look at the Franklin-Christoph Model 66. Let's jump straight to the end with my thoughts on this pen. This is the only desk pen that I have, and not because of any negative reason. It was my really wanting to try a Franklin-Christoph, and this one caught my eye. It is really beautiful to look at. The nib it originally came with was a medium nib, but I bought a replacement nib from them with a broad sig nib, which is one of the tremendous advantages with Franklin-Christoph. Granted, you can screw other nibs in, but when you want some of their specialty nibs, you can order them fairly inexpensive online, and they give a tremendous writing experience. If you have any problem with it, you can easily contact them and get it fixed. What a wonderful thing. Yes, it can be eyedroppered. I haven't done it. I like that this pen has a flat side to it, so when you place it on a desk, it doesn't roll away. So comfortable in the hand, and I don't experience any kind of sharp edges in the writing, and I was curious about that, which was the reason I went with a broad sig. I know that I'm interested in their fine sig and am probably going to go ahead and order another nib from them because their nibs are amazing, going on absolutely beautiful pens. Now that we know how I feel about the Franklin-Christoph Model 66, let's see how I got to that opinion, starting with the unboxing. The Franklin-Christoph Model 66 comes in a very nice pen sleeve like this. Probably the most unique packaging and most functional packaging for any pen you can get. Those pen pouches that they send the pens in are absolutely great. I use mine all the time when I'm transporting this pen. I wish more manufacturers would actually do this. While I enjoy boxes from some of the manufacturers, I think the pen pouch is a superior way to go. With the pen out of the box, we need to get to the nib. Now, to be honest, as long as it doesn't take 20 turns to uncap a pen, I'm fine. But how many turns does this pen take to get uncapped? The Franklin-Christoph Model 66 takes 1 turn to uncap. At 1 turn to uncap, it is in my sweet spot, exactly where I want it. I can't say anything more than it is perfect. I wish everybody would make their pens just have 1 turn. This pen is almost always inked and on my desk at home because I enjoy using it so much. It's one of the few pens that is almost always inked up. This gets us to the nib. This pen has a steel broad sig nib on it. They have a beautifully simple nib with the Franklin-Christoph logo on it. And it's beautifully simple in it has just enough scroll work, just enough of a logo. It's not trying to fill all of the space. It's being beautifully simple, and I like how they look. If you enjoy videos like this, then be sure to hit the subscribe button. Now, let's ink this pen up. The Franklin-Christoph Model 66 is a standard international cartridge or converter that holds approximately 0.7 milliliters of ink. The ink for today is Diamine Honey Burst. The converter is standard international, which is not my favorite, as I've said in the past. It's not a branded Franklin-Christoph converter, and I do look forward to the day that they have their own. But it is not a cheap converter. It's a very good converter, and it performs very well. So while I tend to prefer branded, I think they chose a good brand, whoever they're using. As a habit, I don't normally post my pens, but some pens need to be posted, and some people prefer to post their pens. Technically, you can post this. The cap does fit, and it is very secure on there. It doesn't really affect the length of this pen. This is a very large pen. It's a desk pen, large as in long. I use this unposted. I just hold the cap, and I don't worry about it because also the cap does not have a band that would protect it against any kind of cracking if you put it on a little too hard. Perhaps one of the reasons I really don't post many pens. Now, the important part. The writing sample. As I stated, writing with this pen is a joy to do. Now, I have a medium nib for this that I don't necessarily use very often. Not that there's any problem with it. It is a fantastic medium nib, but their specialty nibs are so good. I have one of their music nibs, which I love using when I'm doing correspondence with people because of the great flair and very wet writing that it does. This broad sig writes very nicely. I've had no problems. It naturally is going to have some feedback because of the shape of the nib, but I don't mind feedback, so that's not any kind of an issue to me. It adds flair to my writing, considering I don't think my writing is especially good. I think writing with a nib like this makes it look a little better than normal. And anything that can help me get my writing to look better is good, especially, when you don't have a high opinion of your own writing. I always got bad grades on penmanship, and here's where I think it makes it look a little bit better. Now, using a broad sig nib, you do need to write a little bit larger just to make sure that you can fit in on your letters. But as I said, the experience with the broad sig, because I felt if there was going to be any issue for me, I would find it there. It's been so good that I plan on going on and ordering one of their fine sigs because I can't wait to see how that writes. I think at the same time I may also get one of their needlepoint nibs because why not? They are very affordable. The pen is super comfortable in the hand to write with. I use it constantly. I probably fill this pen 2 to 3 times a week. I use it so much. So I don't know that there's anything bad you can say about a pen that you use so much. It's just so comfortable and beautiful to look at. Did I say it's beautiful? Now for something a bit more standard in comparing writing size. I use Namiki Blue to do this. Now here it is with a Yovo Extra Fine on the left, medium in the middle, and a 1.1 stub on the right. With this being a broad sig, you would expect that it is much wider than any of your round nibs, and it is, and it writes right in line with a lot of the stub nibs as would be expected. But how does this nib compare in writing size to other nibs I've used? Looking at the writing of a Franklin Christoph Model 66 with a broad sig nib. Here it is next to a Visconti Medici oversize with a broad nib, a Pilot Metropolitan with a 1.0 stub, a Pelikan M800 with a medium nib, a Diplomat Aero with a broad nib, a Kaweco Sport with a broad nib, and a Pelikan M1005 with a medium nib. it isn't a pen review without doing some size comparisons. Here it is capped. Here it is uncapped. And here it is posted. This is a very long pen with a very short cap, so you have to be ready to hold on to that cap in your hand or place it aside somewhere safe while you write. The length and girth of this pen make it very comfortable in the hand, giving no cramping at all. It is perfectly formed, and the section, it absolutely puts my fingers right where they need to be. Awesome. At this point, the pen is dirty. Let's make it clean again. Be sure to check out the next pen review when we take a look at the Hero 7035.
Does your mouth get dry when you make overly excited commercials about nothing? Have I got the deal for you? A glass of water.
Don't rush me. It's only going to take longer then.
For the low price of $19.95, we'll send you water too. Not in a container. We're just going to put the water in an envelope. Act now.
If you want to be able to support not just my channel, but any reviewer, then when you make a purchase, be sure to tell that retailer where you heard about it. Thanks for watching.